Hi everyone. I'm very happy to have with me a very dear student, Dr. Prachi Bajpai. She is a proud Damsonian and a proud Hardonian, and yes, we share a special connection there. So she secured an amazing rank 37 in NEETPG 2022. So heartiest congratulations, Prachi. You really made us proud.
Thank you, ma'am.
And Prachi has been a 3-year student with us. She joined in our foundation years. So Prachi, I really want to know, pehle, in short, the crisp of your journey, because I'm sure when you started, tab nahi pata hoga ki I'll be able to get an awesome rank 37 in NEETPG.
Yes,
so now that it has happened, how do you put the dots together?
So it has always been how DAMS has taught me. Like third year में I started with DAMS. Third year में third and fourth year के notes बनाए थे. So उस time I did not know how to how to just read the notes and everything. So I just used to read it.
Okay.
जितना एक weekend में बनाया था, I just used to read it during the week.
Okay.
And third year में I've just done the third year subjects thoroughly, like all the textbooks and the notes. And then fourth year में I've made the first and second year notes.
Okay.
Due to COVID, फिर वो live classes face to face नहीं हो पाया था, but live classes I've made first and second years के notes.
Great.
Yeah. And basic preparation I've done in my internship. And third and fourth year में I've tried to read the textbooks of all the subjects. So the notes and the MCQs I have started during my internship.
Great.
Yes,
so I think this is a very, appropriate thing to say, that the idea of starting early is that you can be thorough with, your professional years. And this is what I would actually suggest everyone, कि जिस year में भी आप हो, उस year के subjects को ऐसे पढ़ो as if you're doing it for the last time, so that your notes are complete, what is your go-to resource, because internship में the time is going to be less. So yes, I forgot to mention that Prachi has secured this rank right in her first attempt with her internship from Lady Hardinge Medical College. So we all know that it is difficult to study very deeply in internship. Isliye it's always better if you have a go-to resource.
Yes, you should have your notes made before the internship, because it gets very difficult to make new notes during internship while seeing the videos.
Right.
Yes,
and now Prachi, मुझे आपने बताया that you have attended the classes, whether it is face to face or it is live.
Yes,
and you've made your own notes.
Yes,
so मुझे बताओ उसका कितना value रहा, because it's always possible to get a photocopy or get a PDF and things like that. मगर why did you choose to make your own notes and not cut short on your work?
First of all, it feels personal while you read the notes. It is your writing, it is your understanding, and you write what you understand.
Yes.
Like the teacher makes you understand and you write in your own language. Like in my notes, you'll see pencil se kuch in the sides, like little notes for me to understand, because like you're making a major chunk of your notes in your third year and you're reading it in your internship. So you tend to forget what the teacher has explained to you. So it is necessary that you make your own notes and you make it according to your language, so that 2 साल बाद भी आप उसको अच्छे से grasp कर पाओ.
Right. And Prachi, also, do you think that joining early or starting early helped you in this regard?
Yes, ma'am, too. Ma'am, first of all, it is important that your notes are made and completely made before your internship.
Right.
And profs, maybe the notes are very helpful.
Okay.
Reading standard textbooks is very important. There is no escape to that.
Yes.
But notes help during your end days.
Yes.
Like before the profs, you revise your notes and like you're done. So profs maybe notes help, and also internship maybe notes are the basic. You have to revise your notes. So for me, third and fourth year में DAMS join करना, like it was a very अच्छा decision for me, because सारे notes बन चुके थे and my prof also went well because of those notes.
That's great. And I think I would like to highlight this, because this is a question, Prachi, which you will face from your juniors. And this is a question that we also face, that should we read standard textbooks? The answer is yes. But how and when you read it is the critical thing. So whenever, you want to read standard textbooks, it will be easier if you first attend the class, make notes, and then go to that particular topic in the standard notebook. Because standard textbooks, when we say standard, we mean international authors. And a lot of times, unka language is not very easy, or it's not very direct, if I may say. तो अगर आपने पहले नोट्स पढ़े होते हैं और फिर आप टेक्स्ट बुक्स पढ़ते हो, यू रियलाइज दैट यू आर एबल टू रीड देम फास्टर,
यू नो व्हाट टू रीड,
यस, यू नो उसमें से क्या पूछा जाता है, कैसे पूछा जाता है, एंड यू retain it for a longer time as well, so the book suddenly becomes more doable. The second thing I want to say is कि जिस ईयर में है उस ईयर का स्टैंडर्ड टेक्स्ट बुक पढ़ना है. सो ऐसे नहीं होना चाहिए that you are in 4th year and now you are deciding to read KDT. Or now you are deciding to read Robbins. Although yes, you can go back to certain parts of Robbins.
If you have read it before, you can always go back and refer to
that. So Park PSM वाले prof में पढ़ो. So please corresponding year में अपना text book पढ़िए और अच्छी किताबें पढ़िए. That is essential. And then as she mentioned कि हम कितनी सारी भी किताबें क्यों ना पढ़ लें, it's very difficult to go through all those textbooks all over again close to the exam. In fact, when I say close, 6 महीने पहले भी टेक्स्ट बुक पढ़ना is not a feasible thing. So you have to have something which is, as I said, your go-to resource and you can read multiple times. So मुझे बताओ प्राची, लगभग आपने अपने नोट्स कितनी बार बच्चे पढ़े होंगे?
Ma'am, all together I've read it at least like 6 to 7 times.
See, so that is what makes a lot of difference in the speed at which you can do close to the exams. All right. So Prachi, another thing I want to know, beta, that when you joined in your foundation years, you were far away from your exam. So the entrance exam. So entrance exam was not the felt NEET. तो कभी ऐसा डाउट आया कि पता नहीं ये नोट्स 2 साल पहले बने थे, क्या ये एग्जाम के लिए अभी यूजफुल होंगे कि नहीं होंगे, right? So what is your take on that? Because again, that is one query that people can have when they begin their preparation.
I'm like, basics will always remain the same.
Yes.
जो concepts जो Dan सिखाता है will always remain the same, which is the most important thing. जो changes हैं, you can always see them, like DVT में cover हो जाता है and MCQs में आ जाता है. Changes हैं जो 2 साल में, it gets covered anywhere. But the concepts and the basic chunk of the notes are always the same.
Right. And also, if I may ask Prachi, हमने internship में TND किया था क्या बेटा?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So, do you think that was also a good way? Because a lot of people, especially when they enter internship, they would want to know the strategy. So, आपको क्या लगता है कि what is the correct strategy as per you in the internship year? Because I want people to know that it is very much doable to do it right in your first attempt with an excellent rank, just like she has done. Believe me, I am sure she's been told multiple times in our college कि पहली बार में नहीं होता है. You have to drop और फिर लगातार पढ़ाई करनी होती है. So please highlight that point as well.
Ma'am, like during internship, I used to first read my notes when I get time, and then साथ MCQs of that subject.
Okay.
And then after that, subject-wise test. Okay. And then once the subject is completed, I just keep it side. तो ऐसे करके I did all my 19 subjects.
Okay.
And then उसके बाद like it took me around like 7 to 8 months to take have my first reading. And then उसके बाद for the second reading, it felt like I have never read it before. Because 7 to 8 months is a long time.
So imagine even toppers feel that, right?
Yes,
so you are all in, ऐसा लगता है कि toppers शायद किसी और दुनिया से हैं, but ऐसा नहीं है. They've gone through the same ups and downs, the same, self-doubts crop up. So, as you can hear, उसको भी पहली reading के बाद ऐसा लगा कि शायद कुछ भी याद नहीं है या कुछ भी नहीं आता है. So how did you tackle it then, Prachi?
Ma'am, I knew that the facts and the learning thing, I will have to do it in the last month only.
Okay.
So I just focused on what like concepts thing.
Okay.
The first reading में I should get my concepts clear. Right. Learning वाला part, facts वाला part जो like PSM में इतने सारे data, I just used to leave it at that point. कि ठीक है, I know I will not be able to remember it for such a long time. So I just focused on the concepts and the MCQs, and I just bookmarked all the MCQs जितना I thought कि it is important.
Okay.
उसके बाद for my second reading, I just again went to that bookmarks, and I used to highlight the notes which I know that I am forgetting. Right. So I used to go through that only. And I'm also via GTs you get to know like where you're lacking with subjects.
नहीं, अभी मैं पूछूंगी, ये बहुत important बात है, so I'll ask that. So now Prachi, before I go to grand test and other things, I want to know how important was it to have a target in your internship? क्योंकि TND से क्या होता है, you're given a schedule, so you have a target and there is a push कि नहीं मुझे ये पढ़ना है. So do you think कि वो बहुत जरूरी एस्पेक्ट है, या आप अपने टारगेट्स भी बना सकते हो और अपने आप भी मीट कर सकते हो? So what is
both ways can work. Like my TND started when I was in final year only.
Okay.
So that helped me in my profs also.
Yes. Especially for your fourth year subjects. Yes, so I get that query a lot. Ki, if I have done my notes, can I start with TND in final year? I would say yes. Please go ahead. At least ensure that your final year subjects, whether they are SARPO or whether they are big clinical subjects, वो बहुत पक्के हो जाएं, उनको खत्म कर लो. Internship में you will be stress free then.
Making TND notes is like a long process. So during internship you not get time to make that TND wale notes, and they are like high class. For subjects like I've ortho and psyche and medicine, TND notes were very high yield. Okay. So like I knew during internship you do not get time to make that TND notes. You feel like nahi time nahi hai, so let's just skip making notes and just see that kitne questions sahi hai, kitne galat hai. So during final year you have that time. You have time of making notes.
Yeah.
So I've made TND notes in my final year, and then I used to revise it with the subjects in my internship.
Great.
Yes, ma'am.
So yes, so the idea of starting on time actually helps to distribute the workload over a span of time so that you can do it gradually and you're able to do it thoroughly as well. Okay, so now I come to your MCQ skill. So this was about the content. The second part of the preparation is the MCQ skill.
Yes,
so as you said, you started your practicing MCQs in internship, and I also heard you saying that you took the SWTs, you took the grand test, you took the TND. So अब मुझे बताओ MCQ skill कैसे develop करते थे? How did you do the analysis part, and how did you ensure that your number of correct questions is improving?
Ma'am, practicing is the major part. Like silly mistakes, everybody makes silly mistakes, but it's important to know like where you're making silly mistakes and how to not do it.
Right.
So GTs has helped me do this. Like when I started giving GTs, I used to get like very less right.
बताओ बच्चे बताओ, क्योंकि ये ना एक बहुत बड़ा deterrent है. Because there are so many students who would say, मैम मैंने एक GT दिया था, उसमें बहुत कम नंबर आए थे, या I didn't do well, so I am not going to give it any longer. I will first study for 6-7 months and then I will give the GT. है ना, ऐसा बहुत मन करता है.
Yes, ma'am. I had made a copy of GT, okay, in which I wrote like silly mistakes कितने हुए हैं and how many questions in which like they were there in the notes, but I was not able to remember it.
Okay.
And how many questions were there in which मतलब जो notes में भी नहीं थे.
Okay.
So I used to focus on the parts like I know I can reduce my silly mistakes. I know I can reduce the error wale question which are there in my notes. Yes. Which are not there in my notes, I just used to not focus on them much.
Okay, an excellent strategy. So I think this girl had a very clear mindset on what she is doing. So अगर आप भी ये realize करो, this is again something we get a lot of query about. कि what do we do about things जो ऐसे नए लगते हैं?
Yes,
so don't worry about exceptional things a lot. They don't affect your rank that much. But yes, something that is directly there in your notes, वो गलत मत करो, क्योंकि those will be very high yielding, और वो गलत करने से rank slip down होता है.
Yes,
so she was very clear where she's going to put the energy, and this is what I call internship as blessing in disguise. Time कम है, there is no doubt, but इससे क्या होता है, the mentality is, see, I have less time, so let me put it at a place where the teacher is saying it's high yielding, and automatically it really becomes high yielding.
Yes, ma'am.
Chalo, go ahead. हाँ.
And ma'am, like time management is also one thing that GT teaches us. So like in NEET you have a lot of time. You can rectify silly mistakes because you have time in NEET. So I just used to, like with every GT I tried a different method. So then I just with time मेरे को पता चला कि which method is perfect for me. Like for everybody there is a different perfect method. So it comes while practicing only. Like you'll have to try every method and you'll have to see कि आपका score सबसे ज़्यादा किस में ज़्यादा आ रहा है. Like you're comfortable with which strategy. So for NEET I just used to complete my questions like in first go, and then I know that I can reduce my silly mistakes by going through the questions again. Okay. Because sometimes you do not read small words like except, true. Or false or true. So you, while going through the questions another time, you can just see if you've missed some important point in that question. And also, it is important to see all the options and then mark the correct. Because it is our habit. अच्छा ठीक है नहीं B option सही लग रहा है, and you miss reading C and D. But then when you see कि आपके silly mistakes कहाँ हुए, and then you realize कि अगर सारे options पढ़े होते तो फिर I would have got it right. So I think I'm just going to interrupt here because this is something very, very important. It's excellent and you all have to know this. कई बार आपको लग रहा होता है कि this option is the right option. Yes, ma'am. But when you read the other options, you realize, अच्छा, this is a better another answer. One is a better answer, yes, more suited. And that's what she is trying to highlight. And this is an important thing because you will be asked these queries, we will be asked these queries, how to reduce silly mistakes. So this is definitely some of the important tips that she has given. Read all options. Even if you feel, okay, no, B is the answer, please read the options. Read the last line very carefully. Yes, even toppers like her, she is saying that she used to miss an except or a true or a false kind of a thing. So these are very natural things. It happens to everyone. You just have to ensure that come home. The lesser they are, yes, the better it is, right? Because in NEETPG, the major changes in rank are because of silly mistakes. Because the questions are usually easy. But the trick lies in the options. So you have to read every option. So if I may ask you, Prachi, yes, आपने बोला था first GT में आपके बहुत अच्छे number नहीं थे. First few only, not first. Okay. So can you tell me what was the approximate number of correct questions in your first GT and how far did you come eventually? In my what was your baseline? GT, ma'am, I got 123 questions correct. Okay. And ma'am, like around GT 10 or 11, okay, I got like 160, 165 that's questions. Excellent. Correct. That's excellent. So yes, so that's the journey we have to travel to, right? So never ever get scared from your first GT. Take it as your baseline. It tells you the gap that you have to bridge. And then, you know, she has told you multiple ways how you can bridge that gap, right? Acha, and were you making a separate copy as well, Prachi, of your weaknesses or you know, something that would tell you कि ये मुझे दोबारा पढ़ना है? Ma'am, I had a 20th copy. Okay. In which I like 10 pages for one subject, okay, and I used to write like formulas of PSM and physiology, like some facts and some concepts also, which I usually forget. Hanji. And like that was very, very helpful for me. Like in the 10 days which we got between the INICET and NEET, that was very helpful. So like last few days की strategy के लिए that 20th copy helped me a lot, and you should start making it like quite a few months before. So I was going to ask you this कि बनानी कब शुरू करी और उसको पढ़ते कब थे? Ma'am, second reading में, because second reading में you get to know like this is a point which I will forget. Okay. This is a fact which I will forget, and ma'am, formulas like everybody forgets. Definitely. So I knew like I will forget this point, and by giving GTs also. Like a question in GT, like अच्छा ठीक है ये notes में था, but I was not able to remember it, so I used to then and there write it in my 20th copy. Okay. So like within a span of 3 to 4 months, I made that 20th copy, and ma'am, like it was very helpful to me in the last days. Great. So, you know, also, Prachi, because you have, you know, sort of given all the papers at DAMS, you've attended TND, SWTs, GTs. Can you tell us about the quality of the questions and, you know, do you think that they prepare you well for the exams, both exams, INI as well as NEET? Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, the quality of questions are very nice, and ma'am, every subject has like a lot of questions which covers every topic very well. And ma'am, also you should read explanations if you have time, especially of ma'am previous year's question. It is very important to read the explanations of that because your topic is then and there covered. Yes. If you read the complete explanation, you do like for me, I had a very hectic posting in January and February. Okay. So my third revision was only of the previous year's questions and their explanations because I was not able to pick up my notes. Because I had a very hectic internship. So I used to, during my posting only, I used to just open my mobile and just do the previous year's questions with the explanations. Yes, so I think that's also a wise thing to do. Don't wait for PYQs simply towards the end. You have to, you know, judge yourself. In fact, मैं तो ऐसा suggest करती हूँ, it's a good idea to initially go through PYQs right at the beginning.
and go through the PYQs very superficially in the beginning, so that you have some idea of क्या topics आ रहे हैं या कैसे फ्रेम हो रहे हैं, और उसी जब आप पढ़ रहे हो तो नोट्स फिर आपको स्ट्राइक करता है कि यार ये ऐसे आता है, ये ऐसे आता है.
Before the first revision, it is a good idea to just visit the PYQs.
और फिर आप एंड में दोबारा करो, सो उससे इंश्योर होता है कि just in case something is repeated, आपकी मेमोरी की वजह से वो
I've done my PYQs like at least 3 to 4 times.
Great.
Yes, ma'am.
And you know, in eMedicoz, they're all given in one place, and you'll get last 5-7 years, you'll get them with video discussions as well. So you can कहीं भी बैठ के आप अगर कुछ और नहीं भी करने का मन कर रहा है या टाइम नहीं मिल रहा है, it's a good idea to go through the PYQs and solve them. Okay, now we come to the third aspect of your preparation, Prachi, and that is revision. So I always say that there are 3 aspects of giving an exam. There is content building, there is MCQ skill, and there is revision. So now tell me, when did you start your revision, and how did you ensure that revision is taking less time than your first reading?
Ma'am, I started my revision in February only.
Okay.
So my first revision was a little lengthier, like it took 2 months to revise for the very first time.
Okay.
And ma'am, like with every time I used to have a different strategy for revision. Like my first revision, I used to see the notes, and ma'am, for the second revision, like I told, I saw the previous year's questions.
Yes.
And ma'am, for the third revision, it was very selective.
Great.
Like I used to forget pharma and micro, so I read the whole notes again for my third revision. But for the rest of the subjects, I just saw which, like I used to flip through my notes and see which topic is like very forgetful for me, and then I used to read it again. And ma'am, with the GTs, you get also to get to know which topics you lack.
So प्राची, अगर मैं एक स्टूडेंट होती आपकी जूनियर, तो मैं आपसे वही पूछने वाली हूँ, क्योंकि मुझसे भी बच्चे वो पूछते हैं कि मैम आपने बोला इन दी सेकंड एंड थर्ड रीडिंग यू वर सिलेक्टिव, तो आपको फोमो नहीं हुआ कि आपने सब कुछ दोबारा से नहीं पढ़ा? मेरा तो मन करता है कि मैं सब कुछ दोबारा से पढूं.
Get solved by giving GTs and doing tests, because it covers your rest of the topic. And ma'am, once you're confident, I think you'll remember that. Firstly, आपको लगता है कि ठीक है ये टॉपिक रिवाइज नहीं किया, हमें नहीं याद आएगा. बट व्हेन यू गिव GTs, you get to know that ठीक है नहीं ये टॉपिक कवर्ड है, ये याद आ जाता है when I see the questions and the options.
And that is why we will always tell you that the frequency of giving GTs is going to be very different throughout the year. So when you begin, you give only once a month so that you can work on the weak zones, improve yourself. And then in the middle, you give it once in 15 days, and then close to the exam once in 10, and then eventually once every week or maybe twice a week as well. So that is how you ensure that you are always going through all 19 subjects. कोई ना कोई topic हर subject में से आप revise कर रहे हो, उसे passively recall कर रहे हो, and that helps. So believe me, when she says कि ऐसा नहीं होता है, वो याद आ जाते हैं, वो सच में याद आ जाते हैं. Your brain has immense capacity. You are training it. And get out of that FOMO. It is impossible to read all 19 subjects all over again, even 1 month before the exam. It's not possible, है ना? So आपको selective होना ही पड़ेगा, and that's what is called a smart study. Now, Prachi, can you now tell me, बच्चे, what was the approximate number of correct questions in the NEET exam?
2022. I guess I got like 172 or 173 correct.
Great. So it was very similar to what you were achieving in your grand test as well. Okay. Now something that you want to comment on the paper itself. Did you find it difficult, easy? Did you find that, you had everything in the notes and it was an application? Whatever your input is on the paper itself. या कोई सब्जेक्ट ऐसे हैं जो बहुत ज्यादा आए या आपको जरूर पढ़ने चाहिए?
The only thing I remember about the paper is Obs and Gynae.
Okay. I hope you remember it for good reasons.
Yes, ma'am. I was so thankful to you. Like, I was 100% sure that this is the answer.
That's so kind of you. Thank you.
Obs and Gynae was भरा पड़ा था in paper.
बहुत सारे questions है, I know.
And it was all very easy just because of your notes. I'm very thankful to you.
That's
like,
very kind of
you. Obs and Gynae, damn sky is complete. So, like, I am sure I got 100% correct.
And ma'am, I'll ensure that I put double the efforts from now on.
Ma'am, the questions were like 150 questions were very easy. Okay. They were very direct questions.
Okay.
Not very clinical.
Okay.
And ma'am, the rest 50 questions you have, 50-50, like 2 options you are able to rule out very easily, and you just get confused between the 2.
So if I may ask, as a topper, how do you then, because you also get confused between 2 options, तो फिर कैसे हम उसको approach करते हैं?
Ma'am, I used to just skip that question once.
Okay.
Okay. In first go, I just used to mark the questions in which I'm 100% sure. And then, ma'am, after that, I just, when I know I have time, I can read that question, I can think about that. So, jab ek baar ho jata hai paper, then I went to all those questions. Like, I had almost 30 to 40 questions for review. Okay. Yes, ma'am. So, फिर उसके बाद I went and I just took 1 or 2 minutes for a question, and ma'am, uske baad, if you think and if you read the questions carefully, you'll get a certain hint or a word which will tell you that which is the answer between the two options. I think
again an excellent strategy. I think उसने TND को बहुत effectively use किया, because this is what we teach in TND, that if you're confused between two options, you need to go back to the stem of the question. Find out the keywords. There will be a lot of things written there, but not everything is important. So now you have to find out the keyword, connect the keywords, and the answer is going to be there, and then just go with your gut instinct. Yes. Did you change a lot of answers in your review?
Not that which I was 100% sure. I just did not even, I just saw कि अच्छा ठीक है, silly mistakes तो नहीं हुई. Like, except, I was just not missing any word. I just took time during my second viewing in which I had marked for review. Okay. उसी का मैंने change किया है, and
fair. वो इसीलिए तो किए थे कि you give it a thought. So I think that's absolutely great. And now also I want to know from you that paper की जब हम बात करते हैं, so बहुत सारे बच्चे पूछते हैं कि you do it in one go, आगे से पीछे से. Is there any some special tips on that?
I used to do it in one go, ma'am. Like, I do not want confusion in my paper. Like 50 आगे 50 पीछे से. I just, if it is a long question, if I think अभी time लगेगा, I used to just skip it. Okay. And then I used to mark, like, always I had like 50 questions which is unmarked. Okay. And I have like around 2 hours, 2.5 hours left.
GTB ऐसे देते थे?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. And ma'am, this has come from like after practicing like 9 to 10 GTs, I just came to this strategy which worked for me.
Yes, great. That's why you have to do it. Yes, and it's going to be very individual. It's going to be dependent on you. It is not something that you can copy from someone. Yes, so ये तभी आएगा जैसे उसने बोला practice से. आपको पता लगेगा what is good for you, what works for you. So how many questions did you attempt, Prachi?
Ma'am, I attempted 199 questions.
एक क्यों छोड़ा था? Good luck के लिए.
I thought ज़्यादा हो रहा है.
अच्छा, चलो, very nice. So I think hearing you out, Prachi, I would definitely say that बहुत ही well planned पढ़ाई है, और वो बहुत जरूरी है. देखो, मेहनत सब कर रहे हैं, मगर अगर आप randomly करोगे तो you are putting your energy at different places, और वो effective work नहीं होता है. But once you do it in a planned way, I think that is one thing which is highlighted in your interview, is a planned and a systematic way of studying, which always makes you put your energy in the right direction. So what branch do you want to pursue?
Ma'am, I want to take pediatrics.
That's really nice. Okay, so great. So I'm sure you'll be an excellent pediatrician, and you'll have a very, very bright future ahead, Prachi. And I would just say that thank you for making DAMS a part of your journey.
Thank you, ma'am.
It's been a pleasure, and you're going to be really inspiring to all your juniors, and you have to tell them that do it in the first go.
Yes, ma'am.
Right?
It is possible, and you should take a try.
Yes. And we wish you good luck, Prachi, and
so much,
God bless you always.
Thank you. Thank you so much.